meditated.
Musically meditated. Musically meditated.
Welcome to Musically Meditated. I'm your host, Joe Riley. My co-host, Sreten, with me. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Great. We're going to start off right away with a shameless self-plug. Musically Meditated is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher. Please subscribe, share with everyone. We're doing great things. Also, Sreten, how about the Green Door Network? How's everything updated?
First things first, if I didn't say it before, thanks to Joseph Pete for writing a really nice article about our studio. Glad that people in the region at least know we're around now, more so than they did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So thanks to him. Thanks to the Times for publishing a 2-page spread on us.
Yeah.
And photographing our good sides.
Our good sides.
Yeah.
Our handsome sides.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I would like to shout out the guy that did the photography, but I'm not sure if he's cool with that. So I'll hold off on that. But a real nice dude.
Really nice guy.
Really easy to well, he was really easy because I'm really weird when people take pictures of me, which doesn't make sense because we create content here. And
but yeah, well, when you got a guy coming in taking pictures, it's like, huh?
Well, it's always awkward, and I know sometimes you guys do like the photographs for promo stuff, especially with Juice. I'm just a big weirdo. Like I need to get over it.
Yeah, it's weird. It is kind of weird, but you just got to step outside your comfort zone, bro.
Right. I've been listening to the show.
Yeah.
So I heard you meditate on this. Get out of my comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But Green Door Network's coming along, and we just had our depending on when this comes out, it'll be right around that same time that we have the Green Door Books and Studio has or is having our 1-year anniversary.
That's right.
Of being open. So that's pretty awesome and
awesome.
Cool and very exciting, and we've grown quite a bit. And I keep saying one of the most exciting things is 2 things. We've met some amazing people this last year, made some really good friendships. Hopefully all that grows. And then the second thing is what's awesome on the business side is the majority of people, at least in the region, do not know we are there. So that means we have room to grow.
A lot of room to grow.
Yeah. So,
but we have listeners all over. So thanks.
Yeah.
All over. I saw some Japan. Yeah, from Japan.
You've been looking?
Yeah, I've been looking.
It's so cool.
It is cool. That's perfect. But yeah, I did notice Musically Meditated
we're filling
has
up South America. It's crazy.
Yeah, South America.
I love seeing that South America thing light up. Like it's just we got most of South America. That sounds really stupid, but like mostly because of Brazil, because it's huge. But
Brazil is huge. Thanks, Brazil.
Yeah, thanks, Brazil.
All right, but let's move on. So with this episode, I'm going to discuss my past concert experiences. This past weekend, I was in the beautiful city of Chicago, and I was really lucky because a couple bands that I've loved for years were in the same city during the same weekend. So let me get into that. And the first band I hold very true to my heart. They are from Oxfordshire, England. Is that how you say that? I think so. Let me look real quick. Yeah, Oxfordshire, England.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's right. They're pretty important. They're pretty big. Band called RadioHead.
I've heard of them.
Have you heard of them? Yeah.
I've heard of them.
So I got to see RadioHead on Friday at the United Center in Chicago. And the United Center is where the Bulls and the Blackhawks play. So I was excited to see that because I've never been to a concert there. Have you ever been to a concert there?
Yeah.
Really?
I saw Chili Peppers last year.
Oh, how was it?
August. It was fun. Oh, I also saw Arcade Fire. The Arcade Fire show was amazing, only because I was right up front. Chili Peppers show, I loved it, but I was way up in the air. I knew all the songs, and you could still see everything.
Okay.
I have issues with United Center's acoustics. Well, that's kind of stadium, almost every stadium. So
yeah, we'll get into that. Let me backtrack. This was the second time I ever got to see Radiohead perform live. The first time was many moons ago. I believe it was like 2012, and it was at the that outdoor venue. It always has a new name. It was Midwest Bank Amphitheater.
It was Tinley. And
Tinley.
Was now
yeah.
So casino name now.
Yeah. So I had lawn. We had lawn seats, and it wasn't bad, but the sound wasn't the best, and it was such a long time ago. And with Radiohead, especially with a lot of their experimental electronic shit and all of that, you got to be inside. I really feel like to capture that sound and to capture the bass and even Tom York's vocals, So this was like my rebirth experience of getting to see Radiohead. So walking into the United Center, first thing I noticed was the concessions were awesome. Beers weren't overpriced. You know, I mean, it was Chicago pricing, but there was a good selection, and I just really liked the concession setup. I mean, it was like going to a sporting event, so I was very impressed with that. The seats that we had, I was on the left-hand side, lower, like very, very low. Like I wasn't on the floor, but they were like seats like 6 high, and the sound was amazing. The visuals were amazing, and it's been a long time since I've been to an actual concert show, if that makes sense, like a concert. Like this was a big show, a big concert. There wasn't an empty seat in the house. What else I thought was really, really crazy was they did 2 nights. So that I went to the Friday show, and then obviously they had one on Saturday. So, yeah, like I said, going into it, I was expecting a lot, and everything that I witnessed and took in, I was really, really happy with. To break down the sound, you said you didn't like the acoustics?
That building, I'm not too crazy about it.
Okay. I was really impressed with the sound.
Good.
There weren't, like, especially with Radiohead, there's piano playing in some songs. There's beats, like techno beats. What was really cool, and a lot of bands need to do this too, they had 2 drummers performing. I mean, they have their main guy, but they had another guy that was filling in certain songs. And there's something like with an offbeat rhythm that really catches me, and they pull it off well. So shout out to 2 drummers and bands. You're a badass. You're a badass. Another thing too, I always notice about Radiohead, their bass player, I believe it's Colin Greenwood, because Colin Greenwood and Johnny Greenwood are brothers. Johnny is the main guitarist, but what I always notice about him, he's always off into the back, like he's almost hiding. It's kind of weird, but he's always right next to the drummer. And there he was, just this little, British dude jamming away, but his bass sounded great, and I just thought it was a weird, like I always wondered, I would watch like live videos, like, is this guy going to be hiding in the back again? And sure as shit, there he was, just jamming away. But back to Johnny Greenwood, I'm going to break him down, each instrument. He wailed on guitar. He had his, Fender Strat like usual, or his Telly too. And then he would stop, like he played xylophone a few times, he'll do the beats. Like they're just, every one of the guys in Radiohead is like their own awesome musician. Like I always knew that, but just see it like that close, it was very, very impressive. So he blew me away. Like like Paranoid Android as an example, like he just killed it. The guitar, the solo, everything. The rhythm guitarist, I believe his name is Ed O'Brien. Sorry, nerds, if I'm wrong. He did a great job, and he does the backup vocals. I might get some shit for that, but he did the backup vocals, and I was closest to him, and he was impressive. He did a lot of, I think he did some keyboard, he did some keys, and then he would do a lot of shakers, but to complement Tom's backup vocals, it was very, very impressive. Like I said, I already said with the drummers, they had 2 drummers. I haven't seen this before, like for a long time, as far as the live experience goes. They had 2 encores, which was really cool. Like they played how many songs?
How long did they play for?
Dude, it had to have been 2 hours. They played 25 songs. So I'm going to go through the set list right quick. I'm going to see. Hold on. They opened up with Daydreaming, which is off of Moonshaped Pool. So that was a cool vibe. Other songs that really stuck out to me, All I Need. I love that. That's on In Rainbows. Personal, nice piano jam. That's when Tom York came out. They brought out like the piano. Trying to think too. Paranoid Android, I mentioned that before. The guitar sounds were amazing, and the acoustics were amazing because Tom would bust out the acoustic guitars. So the sound at the United Center, they were just on. So I don't know what was going on with the Chili Peppers, man. What was going on with the Peppers?
There's certain sections of that stadium. I saw they sing Yellow. Remember that song? I
know what you're talking
about.
I'm an idiot. It's all good.
But those guys, they came, I saw them at the United Center too, and it was the same type of acoustics because we were way high up there. And I was hoping it wasn't the same. But the thing is, I love the Chili Peppers, and they played amazingly, so I loved it.
Right.
I had a really good time. Whereas Arcade Fire, when I was down low, they already play an amazing show as a band, and they have, I think what you say, they have a couple drummers, they have keyboard players. There's like 14 members of band. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a bunch of people, and they did the thing where the stage, it's a 4-sided stage that was spinning during the concert.
Wow.
So you get a good shot from where you're standing of every member of the group because they're, sometimes you'll see somebody's back, but it was really cool. And they're just walking around, singing duet. It was really, really cool.
That's badass. I really like the light show because it's been a while since I've been to a real concert. I usually go to shows, but the light show and the screen in the back, like you could just not even watch the band. They had so many cameras from so many different angles of every bandmate. You could just like focus on that spot or focus on Tom York or whatever you wanted. But the lighting and the laser show, it was awesome. It's been my first like huge concert in a long, long time.
I also, talking about the acoustics, if the sound doesn't sound totally right in a giant stadium like that, if the production of the show is awesome, like I've been told Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, show like acts like that, really put on an amazing, Ricky Martin, like they just put on this amazing stage show with all kinds of crazy sets and they all still sing well, they're all still good singers even live, and they have catchy songs. But then you see that part of it, so even if the sound's not that good, you're still seeing this amazing, stage show.
Yeah, stage show,
light show, all that stuff,
all of it. But I was blown away, and the only thing I could be picky about was Tom wasn't hitting all of his notes all the time, but that's going to happen, and a lot of people. They'll throw him under the bus, like, oh, it doesn't sound like the record, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, he does such an amazing thing with his voice. Like, his croons are just, I don't know, they're breathtaking. And, like, he wasn't on every song, but just watching, like, I don't know if he works out his lungs or what Tom does exactly, but he was killing it, man. Yeah. Like, very, very impressive. Total professional. Every one of those guys. Like they're all professional musicians. You could tell they respect their craft, and they perform. And by the way, Tom York is the only guy with a man bun that's I'm going to let that pass.
All right, I guess I'm not growing mine back.
No.
Before I met you, I had a man bun.
You had a man bun?
Like a month after.
He's the only one I'm going to let pass with a man bun.
You would have liked my man bun.
Did you have one?
Yeah, right, like a month before I met you.
No, you didn't.
I cut it off. I was growing it for a while.
But yeah, Tom's still rocking that British, I don't know. It's like just a little ponytail. It's not a bun. He's just got a little ponytail. But it's okay, Tom. We love you. But another thing too that I was really excited about. OK Computer is one of my favorite rock albums of all time. It's probably got to be in my top 10, maybe top 5. I'd have to really sit down and try to like figure that out. But they played No Surprises off of that, and that's when the xylophone came out, and I was maybe going to cry, but I didn't.
From the xylophone?
Yeah. There's something like very like innocent about that track. I don't know if you ever listened to it, but I was really happy that they played it.
Yeah.
And that's when Greenwood, I think Johnny, the guitarist, that's when he busted out the xylophone. I was like,
yeah, I was
awesome.
about to ask you, were there any, which songs stuck out?
Yeah. No Surprises stuck out. Fake Plastic Trees, of course. I mean, that's their acoustic classic. Weird Fishes really got me moving. Then I got the whole place moving. I took some video footage. I'll share it on social media. Let me think what else. It's called Deck's Dark. That's on Moonshaped Pool. I remember Tom too. He said something like, I can't remember I can't remember the words of this, like joking around a little bit. He had like a couple blimps, a couple mess ups, but yeah, No Surprises really stuck out big time. And they did like their second encore that they did. They came out with Blowout, and that was their first. I think that was it was their first time playing that since 2008. So that was cool, to see that. That's like an old. I think that's like an old acoustic indie rock type of track off of like a single, because they've had so many singles throughout the years, like especially around the OK Computer era. To see that was awesome. Really awesome. So, yeah. Shout out to Radiohead. Shout out to Heather that got us the tickets, and it was a great time. So, everyone, please go see Radiohead as soon as possible. They're awesome. So,
nice.
Let's transition. So, 2 days after that, a band called Quicksand that I've talked about before and Glassjaw came to Concord Music Hall, and I was really excited for that. Went with my friend Neil. Let me dive into some Glassjaw past experiences. I think this was my 6th or 7th time seeing them live. Sreten, if you recall, I mean, it might have been all the way far back, like episode 3.
Something like it was
something
earlier
ones. We went out there, my friend Neil and I, we didn't get there in time. We missed the whole set, so I was a little butthurt about that because it was a short set. I think they opened up for who did they open up for? Coheed and Cambria. They opened up for Coheed and Cambria and had like a very, very short little time to play, and they played exactly a half hour, and that was it. So by the time we came in, we heard like the last riff, and we missed him. So I was a little mad.
That happened to me once. There's a singer-songwriter guy. I'll keep it super fast. The White Buffalo. He came to Chicago a couple years ago, and I really wanted to see him. And I took my girlfriend and one of her friends. I wanted to see them that bad. I didn't want to go by myself. He was opening for Ryan Bingham, this dude from Austin. Anyways, we get there late because we get stuck in traffic because of rain. I'm like, it's cool. We finally get there. And I tell them, I just want him to play this one song, and I'm going to do like a jump kick because I love this one lyric. We get in. He's playing the song. I was like, oh, shit. We get into the middle. He sings the last line of the song and walks off stage.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it's the worst feeling ever.
But then you know what? I didn't listen to that Ryan Bingham guy, but he put on a hell of a show, made me a fan, so it worked out.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it works out.
Shout out to Ryan Bingham. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I know who he is.
I know you're cool, Joe.
I try. But so I had a bad experience with Glassjaw when I just tried to see him last October. But I love them to death. They came out with a new album. Check out that episode. Well, I know I reviewed Tyler, the Creator, too, but check out that episode. It was a good review. Material Control is the name of it, so this was kind of the tour for it. So when we walk in, the first thing Glassjaw had was like this Post-it note saying, hey, this is going to be recorded tonight, so just to give you a little heads up. And then it kind of had this underwritten like rule, like, don't take pictures of us either. Like, that's the vibe I got from it. Like, just respect the moment. And I've watched interviews in the past too. Like, they're kind of cynical with a lot of their approaches, like even lyrically and just a lot of things that they do. But they put that vibe out, like, hey, just kind of enjoy the moment. We're going to use this footage like for a video, for a music video, or who knows what, maybe a DVD. But we're just letting you know. And I thought that was kind of neat. Like, all right, I respect that, Glassjaw. So this place it was at the Concord Music Hall. It's in Bucktown in Chicago. It's my first time ever there. When you walk up to it, it's just small. Like, you would never know. It looked like maybe just like a little bar, but it's kind of like the Talia Hall. Like, you walk in and you keep walking up these staircases, and then all of a sudden there's just this amazing place that could probably hold 500 people, maybe 1,000. I don't know. Very close, but you could tell not a lot of people, somebody came in there with some money and refurbished it, and really awesome. So the first band comes out. I think their name was Spotlight or Starlight. Don't quote me on that. Kind of a shoegazy thing. A little doom metal behind it. I liked them. I was digging it. But the very last song, the bass player did something weird, and like the woofer for the bass drum and the bass guitar came on at the same time, and it was so powerful. I could feel like my nose hairs moving, and not only that, like my right armpit started to like trickle sweat, and then it started to itch. And I looked at my friend Neil, and I'm like, "Is this bad?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, I could feel it. Like, I could feel my lung hairs. Like it was just bad. Like, like either I'm getting old or like I need to step away, because we were standing like right in the middle, in the front. Right there. And it was like, whoa, like we were blown away. So I was like, oh, they finally, it was their last song. So we got done, went and got a drink. I was like, all right, Quicksand's coming up. So I love Quicksand. I reviewed them as well, somewhat recently for a rock review episode. And they're a 3-piece from Long Island. And their bass player is Sergio from Deftones, but he started with Quicksand. So I was really excited to see them, like majorly excited. So we go right back into the same place, right smack dab in the middle. Well, guess what? That bass, the bass guitar, and the bass kick drum were still on together. Something was wrong. So that bass feeling that I just described came again, and it was overbearing. I've never been, like, I'm a bass player too. Like, I love bass. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But this was just too much. Like, something is obviously wrong. Like, I'm looking at my friend Neil. He's like, this is awful, And then this guy right next to me, he had like headphone or earplugs in. And I go, hey, is this really bassy? He's like, dude, this is way bassy, even with these in. I'm like, okay, I was just making sure like I wasn't being a wuss. So I couldn't take it. We couldn't take it. So we left like that spot, went to the side to see if it was bad. It was bad. So I was like, okay, we got another beer. And I was like, I got to go look at these sound guys. I got to see what's going on. So they're right in the middle. We creep next to them, and I'm just staring at them. I'm not mean mugging them or anything, but I'm just staring at them. All their eyes are huge. You know, there's like 5 of them back there. All of them look like, you know, they just saw a ghost. Like something is wrong. Something is clearly wrong. And I'm just staring at them. I'm like, I talked to my friend Neil. I'm like, dude, there's something wrong. There's something like really, really wrong here. Because like it was still bassy, really bassy from where we were at. So I'm staring at him. All of a sudden, this dude comes, like he's got his backpack. Like I don't know if they called him or whatever. And he gets down there and he's messing with the knobs. And the main guy, all of a sudden, he double checks and he looks at me and he taps his buddy that just showed up to help out. And he looks at me and they're like sick, like making, like, you want to come back here and help? And I was like, no, like I did like the cutoff thing. Like, no, like I could tell like there was a problem. And like, for whatever reason, they saw, you know, they could see that I was just totally checking them out. Like something blew. And then like I look back again and then another sound guy was like making a gesture, like something blew up or something tore up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. But the guy that saved the day, he did show up and he tweaked it as good as he could. But what I'm pissed off about is I love Quicksand, but I couldn't really like enjoy Quicksand.
Right.
And that sucks because they're an awesome old school hardcore punk band, man. I don't know. And I love bass and I love Sergio, but no. No, it was too much. So we love you, Quicksand. If you're listening to this, I want to see you again, but you got screwed on the sound. Something happened. Something happened.
Yeah.
So
It definitely wasn't on them.
no, it is. It wasn't. And that happens, you know, like there's been a ton of shows I've been to where the sound guy can kill it. And I don't think it was their fault because I know that this Concord place, they do a lot of like dance music. And that's that bass I was feeling. Like this is like a subwoofer that's for like bass drops for dance music. But it was like linked up, like I said, with the kick drum and the bass guitar. So it's like you could just feel it through your entire body, and then it was just drowning out the guitar and the vocals. But that it, you know, it's like just making you nauseous. So it sucked. That guy tweaked it out. It helped a little bit. We didn't go back on the floor like smack dab in the middle, but you know, Glassjaw was coming out. So I'll move on to Glassjaw. I was really impressed with their set list. They had a 17 long set list, so that's a lot for Glassjaw. Because like I said, complaining, they're only playing like half-hour sets. What was different this time is they had a different bass player. I don't know if it was Miguel. It looked like Miguel, one of the early guys, but they had a different bass player. They had the drummer. He's in a band called Glass Cloud. He's just like, he looks like an NBA player. Like he's got to be like 6'6", just a long, just tall looking dude. I don't know, but it's like, whoa, you know, like when he stands up there compared to the rest of the bandmates, it's like, yeah, that dude's tall. He's going to wail on the drums. So new bass player, same drummer from last time. Beck, the guitarist, was there. What I noticed about him that was different, he had a Fender Strat. He's always been the type that's had a Gibson, either a Les Paul or an SG, but I don't know. Beck was playing a Strat. And then Daryl came out, the lead singer. I love Daryl. You know, he was on point for sure. They opened up with Cut and Run, which is a new track off of Material Control. Then they went into Tip Your Barber, or not Your Barber, Tip Your Bartender, which is one of my all-time favorite Glassjaw songs. So the crowd reacted awesome. Then they went into like a little bit more of an obscure song called You Think You're John F. and Lennon. And it just starts off with this kind of obnoxious anticipation of a snare, like a snare, not a snare beat, but a ride beat, you know, and it built up the tension and they delivered. Then they went into my all-time favorite song, Pink Roses. I was really feeling it then. You know, it brought back a lot of emotions. Like Glassjaw is like one of those bands that I hold really selfishly and dear to my heart. Same with Radiohead, not to backtrack, but same with Radiohead. There's just like certain songs that I'll listen to by myself and want to be by myself. Like I don't want anybody else to get it, but I get it because it takes me somewhere or, you know, it gets me out of something. And Glassjaw has a lot of those songs,
right.
You know, like I said, same with Radiohead. So both of these bands are like some of my selfish faves, you know. So when they played Pink Roses, I was like, you know, like totally fanboying it out. Then they went into Jesus Glue. That's another obscure classic, but that's off of these 7 inches that they put out randomly, probably about 10 years ago. So it was neat to see him kind of mix that up. Then they went into a rare track that I've never seen them play live. It was the B-side of a single, and it's called El Mark. And it brought me back to like 2003 because I know the exact year because I had a video game. It was like 2K5, like the last year that they had Sega Sports for football, NFL football, and you could make your own playlist, like when you play, and like your team could come out to it. And it's like a really cool guitar intro for El Mark. It's like these finger taps and stuff, but that's what the Cleveland Browns would come out to before every game. So it like totally took me back to that particular time in my life, you know. But I love how music does that. And then of course they closed with Siberian Kiss, which is off Everything We Want to Know About Silence, which is a total Glassjaw freaking classic. And yeah, it got me moving. The sound was better. The bass was still a little over the top, but like you mentioned earlier, if you really like the band, you're really going to like it anyway. And Daryl's got a crazy voice that he does awesome highs and crazy lows and then crazy screams. He's more of like an emotional singer, and he was on. So you could tell he's the type of dude that will have an on or off night, and he was definitely on. So yeah, I'd give them an 8 out of 10, and Radiohead like a 9 out of 10. Radiohead was amazing.
It's a good weekend for music, man.
It was a
That's awesome.
Great weekend for music. So let's transition now into a little segment I call Don't Like What You Like. And here we go. Since I was in Chicago a lot this past weekend, I started to notice these very ironic mustaches that all the men were wearing. And here's my thing, all right? You cannot have a mustache. The only way you can have a mustache, you have to be 30. If you're under 30, here's the things that you have to go through in life to have a mustache, all right? You have to have at least 2 kids. You have to work outside somewhere during the winter, or you have to like just be a man. I don't think
how I see the exact rules, but I see you have to have a job. Like if you don't have those two, if you don't have kids, you have to have a job where you need to wear, like, how at the mills you have to wear the mouth protection, so you can't have a goatee or a beard.
Right.
You have to have a mustache. Yeah. That's the excuse.
Or like a cop, or you're a police officer.
Yeah, also a police officer.
Yeah, that's cool. But if you're not 30, like you shouldn't do that. If you're not 30, you're not a police officer, you don't work outside, and you don't have 2 kids, you're not allowed to have a mustache. Even if it's ironic. Even if you deliver papers on a bicycle or something. Yeah. But I saw a lot of stupid mustaches. it's like, and when I see a mustache, like, it's not fashionable. It just reminds me of like my dad or something, when I was a kid, or like your dad or like your grandpa, like dudes that earn that mustache, like it's been a part of them and who they are forever. Like, not on some like trendy shit.
That's the thing. Almost everybody in your memory, as like an old timer, if they have a mustache, they've always had that mustache. It's like they were born or just appeared one day with that mustache. Yeah. When you see younger people, it never looks cool.
No.
I grew one for Movember a few years ago. I looked like an asshole the whole time.
See, but I'm sure your dad had a mustache.
Well, actually, that's my Facebook photo.
Oh, it is? Yeah, you do. Slow spin.
Yeah, I got to switch that.
Sreten slow spin.
It's terrible. I even wore a bow tie with an old-timey, with a suit and all that stuff, because I'm a big fan of Paul F. Tompkins, a comedian, and that's kind of his look.
All right.
He pulls it off. I look like an asshole.
Yeah, you don't look like an asshole in that picture, but
I look good in a suit.
Yeah, you do. In that picture, I've never. Sorry. I don't think I've seen you in person in a suit.
They don't let me wear suits at the bookstore. But if you come to the 1-year anniversary, if it didn't already pass, I'll be wearing a suit.
But yeah, easy on those mustaches, man. I don't know what's up with that. There's always like some new facial hair trend, and I get it. I rock the beard,
Yeah.
You usually do too.
Yeah.
Probably because it's not because it's in style, because we're lazy, but
I'm lazy.
I'm not just gonna rock a mustache. Like, I haven't earned those stripes. You got to earn a certain amount of stripes to rock a mustache.
I'm not gonna sit in front of a mirror, shave my whole face, and leave that.
Right. Not having it. Another thing too, I don't like what you like. I went to Nashville a few weeks back, and what I don't like, I like Nashville, cool town, really cool. Probably my 3rd or 4th time being there, but what I don't like is commercial country, and I don't like the scene. And I guess I could just leave it at that. It was just very vanilla.
Oh, we're gonna
very
get into
plastic. You want to get into it?
Maybe not now, because
okay.
I do need like 30 minutes.
Okay.
I've been thinking about it. We talked about it when you got back.
Okay.
And I was like, because we talked about it a little, I was like, was Joe right about certain things? Definitely. Were there other things that it's other reasons that it sucks, yeah, I would love to get into it.
Okay.
You know, step your game up, Nashville. It's a beautiful town. It's an amazing town, but some parts of it.
Yeah, it was the weekend before the 4th of July, so there were a lot of out of towners. I'm not like attacking the people from Nashville. It's not them. It's just these out of towners, and
It's
I was
super
one of
touristy.
them. And I was one of them. I was guilty of it. But every bar that you went into, it sounded the same. Like there wasn't a variety. Like I get it. That's what Nashville's known for. But like one bar I went to like had like a club scene so you could dance, but there wasn't like a hip hop bar or a jazz place or anything. Like I know it's all about country music, but I don't know, man. Switch it up a little bit. There was a line outside. It was just super packed. It was super hot, super packed. I love Nashville, but the commercial country scene is just something I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't get into it.
Yeah,
So I don't like what you like, America, because everybody likes commercial country, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I was going to have a counter argument, but I had nothing.
All
I had
right.
nothing.
But we could try this again some other time. But yeah, at any rate, what about the hate mail, man? What's going on with the hate
All
mail?
right. Yeah. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Pull it up on here. You know what I've been seeing people do is pull up emails to read or like give speeches at weddings and pull up like the letters off their phone. It annoys the shit out of me. Write it down or type it out or like print it out.
I always do
sucks.
it. I always do it off my phone.
All right,
too.
here we go. It says, Dear Joe, love the show. Fellow region guy, born and raised, living in Chicago. Now found out about the show from my mother, of all people. Listening to... Ooh, that didn't translate. Listening to the episodes a bunch. And I've been listening to bands and artists I never would have found out on my own. I still like my mainstream bands, but now I like Glassjaw. But still don't like the Deftones, but I like Morrissey now. I'm Team Cure, Morrissey, not Team Cure. The point I'm trying to make is that I loved the Glenn Danzig episode you just did. It got me listening to the Misfits and really got me into his music and music like him. But now I want to go see him live, and I'm comparing my usual live music experience I'm used to. Hold on. I've been comparing my experience with the stories I've been hearing about Danzig concerts, and I don't know if it's cool or not. The last time I went to one of my concerts, the concerts I usually go to, I literally made out with 3 different women. From what I hear, when you go to a Danzig concert, everyone wants to punch you in the face. Last time I went to a Grateful Dead concert with John Mayer.
Some long ass hate mail. Who the hell is this guy or gal?
I don't know.
Okay.
I got really drunk and laughed for an hour straight and then listened to some fantastic guitar playing while watching the sunset. I hear that if you go to a Glenn Danzig concert, everybody there will tell you to go fuck yourself. And if you go into the mosh pits, there's a high chance you'll tear an ACL. And the guy you idolize probably hates your guts. That's it. There's no signed anything.
Okay.
So let's just say signed anonymous.
Yeah, we never say who it is. Well, it's not really that hateful.
But I've been thinking about it too. And since last week, I've been listening to Danzig. And there's a cheese factor, man. I'll get into it when Wallace is here.
Little cheese factor to Danzig?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. What is it? Just his whole demeanor?
Well, the hairdo is, they're wearing all black, but you rip your sleeves off if you want. The being super mean, like the aggression while literally having Elvis's voice. Like you're a tougher Elvis.
Yeah.
And just that his whole demeanor, he just seems to. I have listened to a couple concerts, and he's not like when he's playing, he's not that big of a dick to the fans. He actually likes playing and all that. But like off mic, like interview, yeah, he's a total asshole.
Yeah,
which I don't like that.
He's got an ego, that's for sure. I don't know.
Whereas when you go to a Dave Matthews concert, it's pure joy.
Oh God. Well, nobody. I've never seen. I've only got to see Danzig once, and that was with the Misfits at Riot Fest.
Yeah.
There were so many people. Like I didn't see anybody punching anyone. Like I don't know what that shit's all about.
I don't know. Rumors of mean Danzig Misfits fans. I don't know. Yeah. Come on, hold on. We got Vince Romero here from Pricks on Flicks. He's got something to say.
I do have
Do you have
something
a
to say.
response?
I've been sitting here listening to this for a while, but this is kind of unrelated, but still related to the topic. Mike Patton from Faith No More used to do this thing where whatever city Faith No More was playing at, usually because they were selling out stadiums back in like the early '90s, whatever. He would go to like whatever city he was in. Can I swear? Or I don't,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would get up on stage, like I guess buddies of mine went to see him in Chicago, and he was like, "You guys know who the biggest piece of shit in the world is? Like, you know, like this guy, he sucks so much." And he would do this in every city, and then like they put a spotlight on like Michael Jordan's jersey, and he goes, "That fucking guy." And then and he would do this in every city. He would
About Michael Jordan?
He would insult a local sports
Celebrity?
legend, a sports
okay.
legend. And he would get like the effects guys in on it. I just think it's crazy with that. I've never been to a Danzig show, but like, is that kind of on the same, like, just intentionally trying to get people's goat?
No, I think Danzig's just a douche at heart, really. Like, you know, like I mean,
It's possible, but Mike Patton just did it. I think just because. I mean,
Mike Patton's
he's a weird guy.
he's awesome though.
Anyway, thanks. That was my story that related.
Kind of, yeah, but
appreciate it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
But
That's Vince for printing
that's
off
Vince.
Quicks.
Vince for thanks, Vince.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I don't know. Danzig. Remember, he's 5'5", so I think he definitely suffers from short man disease or syndrome, whatever you want to call it. So he's just kind of douchey.
It's not a disease to be short, Joe.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. That wasn't the right thing to say. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever. Danzig, he's awesome.
I just like that people that are listening are giving the
giving a little
music chance.
feedback. Yeah. As far as any other hate mail, I did receive some hate. It's podcast related because it's the last time that we recorded, and it's how we met. I had that hat that said, "I will meditate and then destroy you," and then I have the same T-shirt. So I saw someone and they mentioned my podcast, like, "Yeah, that's your podcast is cool." Blah blah blah. I was like on the weekend or whatever, and they're like, "What does your shirt say?" And I'm like, "Oh, check it out. Just read it." And they're like, "That's dumb. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen." So I was like, well,
Okay.
thanks. Whatever. We don't like
I
you.
don't like what you
I
like.
don't like what you like. But all right, we're going to close out on this. It's a meditate on this, all right? And you don't always have to be right. It's better to be kind than to be right. We don't always have to come from an intelligent point of view. Intelligent minds create listeners, but a patient heart makes a better listener. So be patient with your words and strive on becoming a better listener. That's all I got to say. Adios. I'm musically meditated.
That's right.
I'm musically meditated. That's right. I'm musically meditated.
Producer my ass over there.